Hi, I'm Frankie.
And I'm back.
Woo!
I'm Cheyenne.
And we are still
Conbini called.
Welcome back.
Yes. Thank you for having me back. I mean, if you're just a regular listener and watcher, I haven't really gone anywhere technically, but I am back from my sabbatical, from my maternity leave. We have a special guest today if you're watching. But
yeah, she might have some words for us later. We'll see if she has any input on our topics.
Yeah. Anything now? I know that's right. Period. Okay.
No comment.
No comment.
No notes.
Yeah. But anyway, how have you been?
Yeah, I've been good. So if you're a regular listener or watcher, you know that we batch recorded a bunch of episodes, like 9 of them, before you gave birth to kind of get us over the maternity leave, I guess you can call it. Yeah. But I mean, there's no rush or anything. She's here on her own volition. Yeah, I didn't force her to come back.
Yeah, Frankie didn't like hold a weapon to my head or anything like that. I'm very much here because I want to be, and I guess it's bring your child to work day, so that's why we have. I'm kind of stuck in a position with her sleeping on me. So, but anyway, I'm gonna power through. I think we can do it. Okay, give me one second. Do you have lipstick on your teeth?
It's been a while. It may not feel like a while if you're listening or watching regularly, but yeah, I took a week off of editing, and now we're in August, so yeah, some time has passed.
Yeah, I definitely feel very rusty being back. It's been a couple of months, 3 months. When did we
Almost 3 months,
Almost 3 months, because I gave birth in June. And so, yeah, the last time we saw each other in this space, at least recording, was mid-May or something like that. End of May.
Yeah,
close to my due date. So has it been that long? Did we batch record that much to last us that long?
We did.
Dang.
We had like 2 months, a little more than 2 months worth of content.
Oats got it. I mean, Oats got it to you for keeping all that footage and editing it and everything and uploading it every week while I was at home with the baby. But yeah, I'm back and I'm happy to be out of the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's it going? Have you developed a routine?
Getting more of a routine these days. I think with a newborn, it's
unpredictable.
Yeah, it's very unpredictable. There's no such thing as a routine, at least in my experience, It's just a lot of crying, a lot of feeding and sleeping and changing diapers and all of that. But I definitely feel like I have the hang of things now, 7 weeks in compared to obviously the first week. But in this episode, I thought it would be fun to just share a little bit about my experience for anyone interested, if like baby care or, giving birth or maternity stories aren't interesting to you. Of course, please skip this episode. But yeah, we got a good submission from someone we know about their experience giving birth in Japan. And I wanted to share a couple of just Reddit stories as well, because one of my friends made a good point, if you're a foreigner living in Japan, there's a lot of, I guess, advice and threads out there from the perspective of a foreign husband married to a Japanese wife in terms of, maybe they're asking for advice or they're giving their experience from that point of view. But depending where you look, I guess, there weren't so many resources or things I could find or that person I mentioned could find in the perspective of a foreign woman giving birth in Japan, So yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about that today.
And I also found an interesting news article that kind of has to do with birth stuff. So we'll get into that.
Any life updates before we get into all of that?
So just besides editing for the past few weeks,
besides carrying the whole podcast on my back the whole summer,
I've just been in my office editing the past few months nonstop. I'm just kidding. No, I've been reading a lot. I had a couple work trips. I was in Tohoku for a while in June. I started watching some new TV shows. Have you ever seen Apothecary Diaries?
Nope, I've heard of it though, and I think it's pretty big, right?
Yeah, it is pretty popular. It's not new or anything. I don't know when the second season came out, but one of my friends recommended it to me, and because I was just looking for something to watch, and it's not the type of show I normally watch, so I wasn't sure what to expect from it. Yeah, but the story is really interesting.
Oh, okay.
It takes place. It's a Japanese anime, but it takes place in like ancient China.
Oh, okay.
And the bar is really in hell, but there's not like creepy stuff involving young girls.
Oh, yay. We love that. Yeah. Good.
There's a character who is already... Oh, hello.
Hello.
Any words for us?
She's like, you are talking way too loud in my ear. Okay. Sorry.
There's a character who's already passed away at this point, and he kind of had those creepy tendencies. So when anybody is talking about him in the present in this show, they mention how like creepy and gross he was. So
I see.
Woo-hoo.
Well, that's good. At least they called that behavior out, I guess. Yeah. Is there any action in that show? Because when I'm one of those, I don't know, bandwagoners, basic people where all of the animes I like are Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan, very gory and action-based. Like okay. Well, I'll still give it a shot if I have some time, but yeah.
It's interesting, though, because the main character, she's, well, I mean, apothecary, but she's very into studying medicine and poisons and that kind of stuff.
Poison.
So, and she's always solving mysteries around the what do you call it? Like the Imperial Palace.
Okay. Well, if there's elements of mystery in there, then maybe I might be a little intrigued.
Yeah.
But
I think you would like it. So you should give it a shot.
Okay. I will. Well, I have like so many shows per your suggestion and also just in general that I've been meaning to get to, especially now that I'm basically home 24/7 on my leave. So it's on the list.
Yeah. I've also been... Because I've been reading a lot too, so then I've been giving Cheyenne some books to read too. I'm like, God, I need somebody to talk about it with.
I know.
So please read it.
Maybe one of our episodes can be a little book club. We can just talk about all the books we've read together.
Yeah, because I've also been reading a lot of stuff from Japanese authors, so maybe we could do an episode on that.
That'll be fun, yeah. Especially because how did the book that I read most recently that Frankie lent me, it's called The Maid, The Housemaid. Sorry.
But, yeah,
The Maid is a series on Netflix.
That's not a Japanese author.
No. The Housemaid. But did you buy that book in Japan? Did you just see it in a bookstore and you said, that looks interesting? Okay. Yeah.
Well, I think... Because I have, I get a lot of book recommendations on TikTok. So I'll take screenshots of it. And I have a whole album in my phone of book covers. Okay. So then when I go to the bookstore, I see if there's anything that I've taken a screenshot of or if anything looks interesting.
I see.
So yeah, I think I had just saw it on TikTok and then found it in the bookstore.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, of course, depending what, where you live in Japan, but in bigger cities, depending on the bookstore, they usually have a big range of books in English. But that book, The Housemaid, it was just, I don't know, something I wouldn't expect to find in a Japanese bookstore per se, but maybe it's really popular now. Yeah, because when I went to the bookstore the other day, I actually found it. So I was thinking like, oh, I didn't know it was popular here in Japan as well. So fun. Okay. It was a really good book if anyone is interested. It's called The Housemaid. Very, very quick. Very fun to read.
Not too deep.
No.
I mean, it kind of gets a little serious, but it was like a quick, like guilty pleasure kind of read.
Mystery, suspense kind of thing. Yeah. A little spiciness in there maybe, but not so much. Yeah.
True. Yeah. What I'm currently reading now is Coin Locker Babies by Ryu Murakami. So
hard left, big 180.
We will do an episode about that sometime, but it's kind of mean, don't you think? We have a newborn with us.
Maybe when like a baby is not in the room.
Yes. We can't let her hear us talk about that.
Yeah. And I think timing-wise, it's good. We're going to wait a little bit. I think if we recorded that episode any sooner with my postpartum hormones and everything, maybe I would have had a breakdown.
I mean, it would be upsetting to anybody, but especially someone postpartum.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll get to that one a little bit later.
Yep.
But yeah, shall we get into it?
Let's talk.
Yeah.
Giving birth.
Yeah, my life update was that I gave birth, so I'll just yap about that from now on.
My life update is that I didn't.
Yeah, there you go. There are two kinds of friends.
Someday.
But as I said, I gave birth early in June. It is now August, so it's been a month and a half. Oh, almost a couple months. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm kind of just tired all the time.
How much do you get to sleep?
Not at all. I think it depends on the baby. I'm learning that if you are going to be a first-time mom or a first-time parent, don't follow my mistakes and just don't rely on, TikTok or Instagram reels for, I guess, information or to see other people's experience about it. Of course, I know the internet doesn't show the full truth. But sometimes instead of like reading articles or whatever, I wanted to just see, my For You page really got onto the mom side of TikTok. So it was
Do you mean like it would kind of scare you?
I think some of it might scare you if you're already pretty nervous about giving birth. But I mean just the reality and expectations of it. Don't watch, I guess, these videos on TikTok and then just expect your experience to go the same exact way, if that makes sense. Because people only post, well, there are some creators who really do post the real and raw, side of having a newborn and all the crying and whatever. But a lot of it I'm watching, and for example, it's like, I don't know, my nighttime routine with my newborn, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. or something. And they have, obviously, it's a video, right? So they must set up a tripod and whatever. But I'm watching it with a newborn now thinking, you are respectfully, a different kind of psycho to do that. to have, I guess, like to have the strength and the energy to set up a tripod, set up a light, put it near your bed, sit back down or lay back down, pretend to wake up because your baby is crying, move the camera to your different stations of, where you change your diaper and where you do your feeding and all of that. It's already so much work without that. So I don't know if I'm ranting a little bit, but I applaud you, but also we don't need to be that extra. Like, that is insane. But if you're a first-time parent and you ever see those kinds of videos and think that person's experience is just going so smooth and how come mine isn't going that way, I wouldn't think about it too much. And that's just my personal takeaway from doing that myself recently. I really have to stop doom scrolling lately. But
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but
I mean, even just aside from baby stuff, like if you see the videos that like, get ready with me to go to the airport, but I'm running late. Like,
yeah, how do you do that? Like, aren't you running
really
late?
running late though? Because when I'm running late, I do not have time to press record.
I'm not looking at my phone. I'm ignoring all of the messages that are coming to me. So again, I give people credit to do it, but also, y'all crazy.
I mean, sure, makes for a good watch.
Of course. I mean, I'm watching them,
Yeah.
But yeah.
You want to share your birth experience?
Sure.
So did you go to a major hospital in Japan? What kind of clinic was it?
I went to a maternity hospital or like a private clinic here in Osaka because, well, I don't think it really matters which one you go to. I'm not here to say a private clinic is better than a public, general hospital or whatever.
It also
really
depends what's near where you live.
Yeah, what's near. It was in a convenient space near me. So that was one of the reasons I chose it. Also, my husband just asked around to, his women senpai and stuff who have given birth here in Japan before. Obviously, they're Japanese, but they just recommended the hospital that I went to. So that was kind of the main reason why I went there. But if, people are, I feel like a lot of foreigners, especially, well, it depends. Because if you're looking for English speaking specifically, maybe that will be more so on the private clinic side versus general university hospital. Also, experiences differ because university hospitals or general hospitals they're general hospitals. They're bigger. So you might have to wait a long time during your checkups. I hear it can be pretty busy versus if you go to, private clinics, there's obviously less people. So things like that are important to consider. But for me, I just went to a private clinic and it was a really good experience. And 10 out of 10 recommend giving birth in Japan. If you're from the US originally, again, all of my experiences are coming as an American living here. I can't speak for other countries that have actual healthcare and things like that.
The stories I've heard have only been from the US and Japan, so that's all.
Yeah, so our expectations and the bar for us in terms of giving birth is so low as Americans. So when I, after living here and experiencing birth here in Japan, I was thinking like, wow, it's so great. But I'm sure a lot of people in the UK or in Europe in general just have different opinions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
But I finally gave birth at 41 weeks. I think the last time we batch recorded, I was pretty pregnant. I was already 9 months, 37, 38, something. Yeah. Right before I was about to pop. But silly me, I was just still at home, kind of waiting around, doing all the home remedies like curb walking, if you've ever heard of that.
Curb walking?
Yeah. Curb stomping.
That sounds like the cousin of curb stomping.
Yeah, but it's like when I would walk around Osaka Castle Park, for example, and instead of just walking on the path, maybe there's a little curb for the sidewalk or something, and you're supposed to like 1 foot on the curb, one foot
you go up and down.
Yeah, so you're kind of shifting your weight a little bit, going up and down.
Okay, so it kind of gets your hips
moving a little bit, and that apparently is supposed to help the baby move down. I don't know. There's all kinds of remedies you hear about. Like raspberry leaf tea is supposed to help speed things up. Yeah, I was drinking that. Didn't do anything. Eating dates is supposed to help as well. I was doing all the stuff, and
I have raspberry leaf tea and dates at home, but I'm
not
pregnant though.
Are you just super regular then? Maybe it's like just supposed to speed your digestion in general, but I don't know. So I was doing all this stuff, and finally around 41 weeks, I started having contractions, and for me,
what's that feel like?
Yeah, so
where do you feel it?
It's funny because you know they're supposed to hurt, but if you're a first-time mom, of course you don't really know what they're supposed to feel like and what's normal. Because I was asking my mom, and she said, "You'll know when they're coming." And after experiencing it, I guess I knew, but at first it just feels like really bad period cramps. I was kind of cramping a little bit, and they hurt more than regular period cramps. So in my head I was thinking, it's starting, obviously, but is this the real thing? Should I wait a little bit more at home? I don't know. So they started a little bit on a Friday night. They were manageable all throughout Saturday, throughout the day. I kind of went to the park. I went to a cafe, in pain a little bit, but they were pretty sparse, maybe every, 15 minutes or so. But they were manageable. And then it's when your contractions are every 1 minute or 2 minutes apart. When they start to get closer in frequency, that's when you're supposed to go to the hospital. So around 2 a.m., it's Saturday is done. It's Saturday night leading into Sunday morning. So 2 a.m. on that day, it just got so bad I couldn't go to sleep. And I called the hospital and they said I could come in. And I thought, according to my pain, okay, it's time. I'm going to go in. And then they checked me out and said I was only 1 centimeter dilated. For anyone who's unfamiliar, not the real thing, but when the baby's
10?
coming out, it's 10 centimeters. So just picture that distance down there. But I was only 1. So the nurses were saying, you can go home. Usually people they said the word relax, like I'm supposed to relax at home during this time. But they said, you might be more comfortable at home. Maybe go take a bath. You don't have to come in now, but it's up to you. And then after they said that, I got a contraction and I was like, like screaming in pain, like the crib keeper at night, just jingling my keys like, a ghost haunting the halls. And then they saw my face and said, okay, you can get checked in now if you want to. And so that's when I got checked in, was around 2 a.m. And I got I'm putting air quotes, epidural / pain medication.
Yeah. So what did we learn about epidurals from this?
They're different. Again, in comparison to the US, I think our image of epidurals is just totally pain-free.
Yeah, totally numb.
Yeah.
In your lower half?
It's like not a spinal tap, but it's an injection in your spine and it just numbs you waist down, basically. And a lot of, moms I know, and just from doing research, everyone is pretty adamant about getting an epidural, especially if you don't want to feel labor pains. I know some people prefer to, and that's totally fine too. I did not want to. But yeah. It is different in the sense that I'm just going to be using the word epidural as a general term. But in Japan, I learned there are 2 kinds. I think I talked about this. One is called watsu, so kind of more of a pain relieving
like pain
anesthesia,
reduction.
Pain reduction, yeah. And the other one is mutsu, so no pain.
No pain.
Like painless, I guess. The one that was available to me from my hospital was watsu, so the pain reduction one, I guess. And it did reduce a lot of the pain. So when I was induced induced. When I was in the hospital from 2 a.m., I was having contractions all day, but because I was on that medication, I didn't feel anything. Although, I guess this is common sense that I didn't think about. When you get that injection, because it's in your back, you can't get up. You can't walk around. So all day, like, it sounds so like, duh, you know? But at the time, I just wasn't thinking about it. But all day, when I was on that medication, you know, if you have to go to the bathroom or anything, you get a catheter put in. Oh,
because you wouldn't be able to feel.
Because you can't get up, yeah. Like, I could feel that I had to use the bathroom, like go number one. But in that time, I had to call over a nurse and she had to do all that stuff, like put it in and kind of let me release and then take it out and all of that stuff. So I feel like most people can put 2 and 2 together, but if you weren't thinking about that, you are on a catheter. So if you want to kind of wait, I guess, to the last minute to get your medication, that might be best, because I was in that bed all day. Actually, according to my records, I was in labor for 27 hours.
Ow.
Yeah. Yeah, and so for most of that, I couldn't feel anything because I got the medication super early. But towards the end, what I also didn't know with that Watsu epidural is that it weakens the contractions. Because it's a pain reliever, I guess it doesn't, you know, give you the full contractions, meaning that the baby is just, in my case, was moving a little too slow down, you know? So I was taking a long time to get fully dilated. And so when I was checked in at 2 a.m., I was in the bed all day, basically just going through contractions. My water didn't break till 5 p.m. And and then even by, 5 p.m., they were saying, okay, we need to speed things up a little bit. The medicine weakens your contractions, so let's just turn it off or weaken it. I was
you really need it.
Like, I was so doped up by that point. It's kind of, I don't really remember a lot of it, but I was saying, okay, sure. And as soon as they turn it off, that's when I felt the real, labor pains and contractions. And they hurt. And maybe, again, it's obvious, but I was expecting a really bad period cramp in your uterus, like towards the front, of your stomach. But what I didn't expect was that it actually hurts more like towards your butt, like your butthole. Like it in a way, like, have you ever had diarrhea? Sorry to TMI, but
I think everybody has.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just, imagine one long, intense stomach cramp as if you had to go number 2. Like that is what it feels like over and over again every 2 minutes apart or so. Yeah, so that really hurt. My husband was allowed in the room, which I'll get to in a bit about, partners and husbands being allowed in the space. Yeah. But in my case, he was allowed to be in there with me the whole time, from not from 2 a.m., but the morning of maybe 10 a.m. All the way until the birth. So he was there rubbing my back and keeping me company and stuff. But I do not recommend don't recommend giving birth, but it was not a fun experience at all. I know some people have really great experiences in mind. It just hurts, obviously,
But they say that, once the baby's here, you kind of forget about those labor pains.
Yeah, but not right away. I feel like only now I'm kind of forgetting them, But the labor itself is so intense, especially when the head is coming out. That's when it hurts the most, obviously, because that's the biggest part. Frankie's face is like, no. But that's the biggest part of the body that, you need to worry about. So as you're pushing, that really hurts. And as soon as that part is out, everything kind of just slides out after that.
That makes sense.
And you hear about people just not feeling anything after that. And that is true, because I think the worst pain is over and done with. Anything after that really just does not feel like anything. Okay. Like, it was really warm. But it was intense. And my husband took a video of, he was only allowed, like, what do you call, from waist up. He wasn't down there looking at everything.
He couldn't, like, catch the baby.
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing in Japan, no matter what hospital you're at. So he was there by my side. So he took a video from, an upper perspective, I guess. And
from the top.
he said, I haven't watched the video yet because I'm almost a little too embarrassed, but he said my scream was the scariest thing he's ever heard. And he said my pain like really hurt him and he was in a lot of pain. And I was like, that's nice, but you weren't in pain, my guy. You know? And he's like, I'm an empath. Your pain was my pain. And sure, you know, but he said it was really scary how much I was screaming because he obviously never saw me in a situation like that before. So yeah, any partners out there, just be aware. It's really loud in there. Although, did you have something to say?
I have a question.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Okay.
I have heard, just based on, watching videos of people who have given birth and stuff, that some doctors will shush you. Mm-hmm. They tell you to keep quiet so you don't scare the other patients or they just find you annoying or whatever. How was your experience with that? Did anybody tell you like, shh?
Yeah, so
stop screaming?
They did. And I remember in the maternity episode we recorded, we read some Reddit stories about doctors telling women to be quiet, or it's kind of more common in Japan for doctors to say, you can't scream or you're going to meiwaku, like cause trouble to the other patients or whatever. And at that time, I was kind of in shock. I couldn't believe that they would suggest such a thing because it is such a painful experience. Yeah. But in the moment when I was doing it, I was screaming because I was in pain and I got shushed. But thankfully, because maybe not all doctors do this, but my doctor explained to me why. And I had a female doctor too.
I was just about to ask.
I wasn't going, I think if it was no offense, I think if it was a male doctor I would have been like, shut up,
Get out.
But all of the midwives and the doctor, it was all women. And she told me, don't scream because it exerts you faster. It takes so much energy to, I guess, release your voice and to scream that I think in a way your brain is focusing on the scream more than the pushing. And so she really had to encourage me, to, when I'm pushing, like I had to lock eyes with her almost, kind of like give them eye contact and really just
coach.
Like breathe and just and push through and breathe through. And honestly, it sucks because your first instinct when you're in pain is to scream, but it was good advice. And I think it did help speed the process up a little bit. I went into labor, or it was time to push at 11:30 at night, and everything was done by 11:45.
Oh, wow.
I was in and out of there in like 10 minutes, despite my 27-hour labor.
Very long labor.
Yeah, I was thinking it's been long enough. But so I did get shushed, but it wasn't as annoying, I guess, as I thought it would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if people who have had those kind of bad experiences, I wonder if the doctors were male.
Yeah.
In that case,
they were probably men and then didn't explain the logic behind it.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like if the logic makes sense. So if somebody took the time to explain that, then okay, I get it. Yeah. But if they don't say anything and just say shh.
Yeah, like especially because
it's gonna send you into a rage.
Of course, you're already going through so much. It's so painful. The last thing you want is for a man to tell you to calm down or to stop screaming. So I understand people's frustration with that. Exactly.
Women have done this for centuries.
Yeah, it feels very much that. Especially, it's more annoying because if you're being told to not make noise by someone who has never given birth, like who never has to give birth, who doesn't have the anatomy to
feel that pain.
It's kind of annoying. So I understand. I'm not trying to invalidate anyone who felt a certain way about being shushed, but that was the reasoning. At least, who knows? Maybe they just gaslit me into thinking that way. But like that's the reason why. Yeah. But I'm so glad it's over and we have it's all done. Yeah. I'm pretty good on kids for the next couple of years or so. You
gotta heal.
I gotta heal. You do have to heal, but I give a lot of credit to people who, have kids. What are they called? Like Irish twins or something in English? When you have kids within a year apart, like that's cool. Couldn't be me. But yeah, I'm good for a little bit.
Yeah. Do you think you would do the same type of clinic in the future?
Yes. If I stay in Osaka, because again, job transfers and everything with my husband. But if we were to stay here by the time it was the second kid or the second pregnancy was here, I would go to that same hospital. I had a wonderful experience there. Okay. I'm going to get into the hospital experience in a little bit, but just to go back to epidurals too, I feel like, what did we read before? A lot of people don't, or I guess they're not again, air quotes, allowed to get epidurals in Japan. It's like, not so common.
It depends where you live.
Yeah.
Because, so this is also the article I found is related to this, but there's a lack of anesthesiologists, even in Tokyo and Osaka.
Oh, no.
So that's part of the reason why they're not as common.
And what was I reading? I think just culturally,
lack of anesthesiologists who will do the epidural. Obviously, for other surgeries and stuff, they're not telling people to go without anesthesia, but it's not as much of a priority for births. Yeah,
and I think it really just depends on, like Frankie said, the area, but there are some maybe unfortunately cultural differences there in terms of, you know, what is expected of women giving birth and, you know,
like
what
a rite
is
of passage kind of thing?
Yeah. I kind of I was curious and I was finding some threads about giving birth in Japan and stuff. And there was a comment here. I'll link the post below, or Frankie will. Okay. But someone said, I heard that epidurals are frowned upon in Japan. A doctor at a women's hospital my wife visited for a checkup said that when my wife indicated she was going to have an epidural, they said, but how could you be a mother when you haven't felt the pain of giving birth? Needless to say, that was our last visit. So yeah, there's still a lot of...
But by that logic, are they also going to say that people who give C-sections are...
Yeah, that's another thing, because C-sections are really common in Japan. I feel like they're more common than I was originally thinking, but yeah. Would you say the same thing about that? I don't know. Oh, and then just personally too, when I was telling, you know, friends here that I was going to get an epidural, a lot of them who have kids were kind of shocked that I was allowed the option, because I guess they weren't.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of things here and there. A lot of it is, you know, culturally, like that comment I just read about you're not a real mom or whatever. But sometimes from what I've seen, it has to do with like BMI. According to some hospitals, if you have a BMI over a certain number, they don't allow you an epidural.
Would need a higher dose?
Maybe. I'm not sure of the science, but yeah, some hospitals rejected some epidurals because of, I feel like, well, isn't BMI just a myth? Like, isn't it just not real? Yeah, they still use it here anyway. So that was a reason. Another one is the most common one I heard was for first time pregnancies. They don't allow you the epidural because I guess you need to get that mom experience, and then for the second one, I feel like because you don't know if you're a first time mom, if you get the epidural, you're not sure how much to push. I don't think, like, if you're numb down there, maybe you just can't push, and so they make you. I don't know. I'm sure. Sometimes the reasons are just BS because, you know, hospital. Like, I don't know.
We've always done it this way, kind of.
Yeah. But I'm just lucky I was allowed the option, and I took it. But anyway, moving on.
Yes. Oh, how much does it cost? That's not covered by insurance, right? The epidural?
Well, fun fact, epidural, not only the epidural, but childbirth in general is just not covered by health insurance here.
Oh, did you know don't you get some of it back?
You get, so there's, what do you call them? Stipends or government funding or whatever. So you do get a lump sum payment. So the most of the birth cost is covered, and it's usually around gojumayan, so $5,000, $4,500 or whatever. So 500,000 yen. But what is it called? Birth itself, because it's not a sickness, it's not covered by Japanese health insurance.
It's voluntary.
Yeah, so you need to make sure you do that paperwork, you know, register your birth and register for all of the government support so you receive that financial support. But like Frankie said, the epidural is not covered under that. So I think out of pocket, depending, again, if you go to private versus public hospital, all of that stuff. I have someone who submitted, they said in total out of pocket, they paid maybe around $300. Okay. Which is very affordable if you're American. That's like us. It's crazy. Americans. If you're like me who did get the epidural that wasn't covered, then you're paying, you know, in the 200,000 yen-ish area, like a couple $1,000-ish, because I wanted to be pain free and get the epidural. So shout out to my husband for paying for that for me.
That was your push present?
Yeah, my push present was just the epidural that I couldn't really use at the end of the labor, basically. But yeah, so it's, I think in comparison to the US, it's quite affordable to give birth in Japan, but everyone has different, you know, financial backgrounds and all of that stuff. So I don't want to be on here being like, it's totally affordable, everyone should have kids, because the cost of childcare is expensive after that, you know?
I remember on your TikTok video, because you posted the like, oh, this is nice.
This is nice.
About the, you know, like the good food and stuff in there. And then somebody commented like, is this birthing propaganda?
A little bit. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. It wasn't, but I can see how it looks that way. One comment.
They were just kidding, I'm sure.
I'm sure. One comment I got on that video, someone was saying,
yeah.
Sorry, we had a comment. But one commenter said, dang, so I bet Japanese birth rates are through the roof or something. And I don't think they were being sarcastic. I feel like they genuinely thought that. And I almost wanted to comment back, like, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this, you know, but yeah, unfortunately, even with all of those benefits, birth rates are still at their lowest here in Japan. I think in the world is Japan. South Korea.
That's the lowest one.
Yeah.
But Japan is up there.
Yeah.
Too. But of course, the cost of birth is not the only factor in why. We did an episode about this before, about the aging population and the birth rate crisis. So check that out.
Yes,
if you haven't seen it, because we go into more details, and then we also asked some people as well who are Japanese their opinion about that kind of stuff. So it was an interesting episode. But
yeah, in general, I mean, I had a great experience. It's very typical, I think, no matter public or private, for the mother to stay at least 4 nights and 5 days in hospital, and that's if you don't have any complications. And so during that time, you're allowed to heal, most and foremost, you know, most of all.
And you get some support with breastfeeding and stuff.
We had lactation consultants available 24/7. The hospital I was at had aroma massages, so I got to have a massage one day. There's also just a general nursing care area for all of the infants. If, you know, your baby's in a bed in kind of this rolly cart kind of bed next to you 24/7. But of course, if you ever feel like you need to rest or go to the bathroom even, you give it to all of the nursing staff, and they're more than happy to just watch over them for 5 minutes or a couple hours or something like that if you need a nap. But so again, that was something as an American I was so shocked at, because in the States you just kicked out the next day, basically.
Pretty much.
Maybe 2 days, and that's a lot.
Yeah, maybe 48 hours. But
yeah.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
So were there other people in the room with you?
Ooh, yeah. So I stayed in a 4-person room. So it was me and 3 other moms. And at first I was kind of a little apprehensive, I guess, because, you know, you're so tired. You have a baby that cries. And I was thinking, I don't want to share a room with someone else. It's not private at all. It's weird. But there's little dividers and curtains that separate each of your sections. And so you have more than enough space to yourself to eat, to lay down, to take care of your baby and all of that. Although the hospital I went to also had a private room option. And of course that costs more money because you're just getting private care. But yeah, so if there's anyone out there that is a little I guess, nervous or doesn't want to share a room with people, you do have that option. But it's not as bad as you think. Like, I thought it was just going to be annoying the whole time, but you're all moms. You're all there in the same situation, you know?
That's
no
true.
one cares,
Was that just for the aftercare, or was that also while you gave birth?
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was so scared that it was going to be while I was giving birth. But if you think about it, I think like that wouldn't be sanitary either. You know, like the hospital bed versus just the what do you call, nursing care bed or whatever. So the hospital I had an actual labor and delivery room. So I gave birth in a room by myself with my doctors.
That's what I was
I thought you were just in front of other people too. But maybe that was just something I totally misunderstood. But or maybe certain hospitals are like that, unfortunately. But no, I had a labor and delivery room, so all of the labor and birth was done with my husband and with my doctor. And then when it was time to move to where I was going to sleep and do my hospital stay, it was in that 4-person room. Yeah. And of course, you're not allowed to talk on the phone. You know, if you're watching videos or whatever, just use headphones. Like, be mindful of your roommates. But yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Okay. Yeah. I was very curious about that.
Yeah.
Because I imagined it was like a a whole row of ladies just giving birth at the same time.
Yeah, I was kind of scared of that too, especially because, you know, you hear the stories about women getting shushed, or you don't want the doctors, you know, encourage you not to cause trouble for the other patients or whatever. But
why can't you scream then if you're in a room by yourself? I
think, again, it depends on the hospital.
The energy.
But where I was at, the labor and delivery room was just on a different floor than the actual, you know, hospital. What do you call it? Like nursing maternity ward? Yeah. So it's not like, oh God, I hope no one could hear my screams even from the different floors.
They could hear it down the block.
Yeah, at 11 at night. Oh, I would have felt so bad. But yeah. In my case, they were totally separate, so I was very relieved about that, too. Okay. Yeah, but I also wanted to talk about just some expectations from moms after birth. I don't know, I feel like, well, what are your thoughts? In the US, for example, because we're just kicked out of the hospital so quickly, our maternity leave, if you have any, is so short, or it sucks. It's unpaid. Well, it's unpaid here as well, but it's unpaid. And so a lot of moms will just go home or go back to work right away. And do you think, I don't know, would you say there's, I guess, a higher expectation for moms in the US to, I don't want to say bounce back, but to like get back to regular life, to manage a home and also a career and all of that? Any thoughts?
Any thoughts on that?
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I would have used the, yes. I would have said it bounce back too, because I don't know how else to phrase it. Yeah. Not only like with your body, but also, your work and stuff as well. But in Japan, I feel, of course I don't know because I'm not a parent, but I feel like the expectation is to maybe not bring the baby out so quickly and just like, you know, stay home and while you get used to them and everything. But for the moms, for the expectation for the dad, they probably just don't even take a day off.
And that was kind of like a fun, not fun, but that was a culture shock I had as well because of course, you know, I had my time in the hospital to rest. I was also resting at home, don't get me wrong, but I did take baby out here and there when they were 2 weeks, 3 weeks old, just to like a nearby cafe. It's summer in Japan, so it's too hot to go outside anyway. Out too long, But you know, I had places to be in a couple of cases, so I would take them out and I would get comments.
To the doctor too.
Yeah. So, but I would get comments, you know, from like acquaintances saying, "Wow, so quick, so American! I can't believe you already went outside. Wow, bunka chigai ne. What a cultural difference." So that was something I learned. But I just wanted to say, because it's so normal for moms to just rest and stay in the hospital after they give birth, I think I had a positive experience in terms of not expecting to bounce back right away.
Okay. That's good. A little snorting. Yeah.
Did I give birth to a piglet? And that's all she has to say about that. But anyway, I
will not be explaining
further. But even after I came home from the hospital, my husband's mom, so my mom-in-law, came over to help cook meals. And you always hear these horror stories of in-laws or whatever, you know, or people just wanting to visit the baby and, you know,
like
do
overbearing.
Kind of overbearing. But when, in my experience, you know, everyone, not just mom-in-law, but everyone I knew were kind of encouraging me to lay down, to sit down. I think I personally felt like I had to get up and, you know, host people or, you know, tend to the baby or whatever. But everyone was very kind and just letting me do nothing and not letting me feel guilty about it. So I'm very thankful.
That's good.
Yeah, for that experience. And another thing in terms of, you know, letting moms rest is, have you ever heard of a sango care hoteru, or like sango after post-birth care in Japan?
I've seen a YouTuber in Korea do that before. I didn't know they have them in Japan too.
Yeah, so they have little hotels or facilities, I guess, in Japan where if you want to just get some rest while someone, and by someone I mean a nurse, a qualified midwife, you know.
Not just a random person off the street.
Right, watches your baby. There's options. So like a hotel where you can just stay overnight and they'll watch them, or you can go out and you leave your baby there and they'll just watch them for you. So a very, I guess, qualified babysitting service is available.
Like a daycare.
Kind of a daycare.
With registered nurses.
Yeah, a daycare with registered nurses, but also I found out about it because the midwives at my hospital were really encouraging me to do it because they knew I'm not from Japan, and they asked me if I had any family coming to help me or to just be with me during this time. And unfortunately, no. And they were, you know, kind and very worried about my well-being. And so they suggested, you know, there's these hotels where you can stay and just get round-the-clock support if you ever need help at home. Not that they were doubting my husband or whatever, but, you know, like, he has to work, or it's not the same when you have no family members come and visit you. So that was something that I was surprised is available here, again, because I guess it really showed, well, what am I trying to say? That was something I was really surprised to learn about, I guess, because there's so much, you know, conversation about moms having to, you know, manage everything with a baby and all of that. But I don't know, it was nice to know that I could rest guilt-free, I guess, like have this kind of support available to me. Yeah. I haven't used it yet, but maybe one day.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't know you could use it for like day use. I thought it was after you finish those 5 days in the hospital, you stay for a week or two to like extend your care.
I see. It's not only in the hospital you give birth at. There's just like different areas in your ward and stuff too.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that's not what I was thinking of, but
yeah.
Sounds good. I didn't know they existed.
So some people use it overnight. You can just drop off your baby, and, you know, if you need just a night alone at your house, you know, or with your husband or with your partner or your husband or whatever, then people use it for that. Some people do it just for a couple hours so you can have, you know, a date night with your significant other. And so there's all different times and lengths you could use it, I guess.
Is that only for newborns?
Good question. I assume you
like
can't.
A 10-year-old?
Hey, just take my 10-year-old over. No, I assume it's probably for newborns, or maybe up to 3 months or something like that. It didn't seem like it was available for the rest of, you know, my child's life or anything. But who knows? Maybe, I mean, that's just a babysitter at that point. You should just get friends to watch your kid or something. Yeah. But yeah, so that was a fun little culture shock, I guess, I learned about. But other culture shocks. Oh, sorry. Did you have a question?
Well, we're still on the topic of maternity clinics and stuff. Yeah. So what about the visitation?
Yes. Okay. I totally forgot about that. I don't know if I talked about this in the maternity episode too. I don't know if this is a post-COVID rule or if it's always been a thing.
Good question.
Yeah. But my clinic, and it sounds like others as well, only allowed 1 hour a day per visitor, up to 2 visitors a day. And that includes the father. So my husband could only come for 1 hour a day. And then you have to space. And if someone else comes after that, you have to space out an hour. So there was one day, I think my husband came from like 1 to 2, 2 to 3, I had to, you know, feed the baby and just take a break. And then from 3 to 4, my mom-in-law came over. And then that was all I was allowed per day, like a prison. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite crazy. And I see some stories too where husbands aren't allowed in the delivery room at all. And
it really depends on the hospital or the clinic.
Yeah.
They all have their own rules.
I know. And I'm sure anyone listening, you're sick of hearing us say, it depends. But like truly, it's so different. It really depends. I found a good Reddit thread about people's experiences with visitation. Okay. That I wanted to share. Okay, so I'm just going to read a comment from the thread because it just has to do with visitation. Someone said, my wife gave birth twice in a private hospital in the Kansai area. I wonder if it's
was
mine.
it yours?
Yeah, was it mine? Once was during the height of COVID. The other time was a bit more recent. And this is a year ago, they posted. Both times, I was allowed to be with her in the labor and delivery room and witness the birth, but I was only allowed to stay for about half an hour or so. Luckily, both of our kids were born in the afternoon, so no problems there. She was also hospitalized both times for 4 to 5 days, and they also have that practice of keeping the baby in the baby room for hours at a time. All of which to say, I think that's more or less how many hospitals in Japan operate. So it sounds like they got limited visitation time as well. At least they were allowed to be in the LDR, in the labor delivery room. But yeah, I don't know. I would hope. Well, actually, I don't know if it's a cultural thing or maybe a personal preference, because I gave birth around the same time as one of my coworkers. And when we were both still at work talking about, you know, our birth plans and whatever, the conversation about...
Sorry, this is the AC. If you hear the hum of the AC in the background, sorry, it's August. We can't.
But when we were talking about, you know, giving birth and all of that stuff, they asked me, do you want your husband to be in the room with you? It's called tachiai. And I said, yes, of course, you know, I wouldn't see it any other way.
Yeah, for Americans, it's
pretty normal. Yeah. But when I asked, you know, her, she said, no, I don't want them in there at all. And another coworker, he is a male coworker that I asked, he said, I wasn't in there for that either. Like, what could I do? And I was like, support your wife.
Hold her hand.
You know,
Rub her back.
And maybe it sounds like a cultural thing to me because that was 2 Japanese people in that time telling me this, but it could have also just been their personal preference. I'm not here saying all Japanese people do that, but
it depends.
But it truly depends. And so I feel like if you are married to, you know, a Japanese person who is the one giving birth, maybe she doesn't want you in there. And that could be an option. But what was I saying? I also asked my husband's mom, so my mom-in-law, about her experience. You know, did she want her husband in there, or was that even an option? And she was also like, no, he just waited outside. Yeah, like maybe not outside of the hospital, you know, but outside of the labor and delivery room. Yeah, so I was kind of just surprised to see that. Yeah, they're just, that's the option, to not be in there during the birth. Also, I was watching a Korean drama. Do you know When Life Gives You Tangerines?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's also called Otsukare in Japanese, the Japanese title. But there's a scene where in like modern day, one of the characters is giving birth. This is a Korean show, so they're in a hospital in Korea, and she's giving birth, and her husband is outside of the room waiting for her. So I wonder if it's just very common in Asia to have that. I don't know.
Let us know.
But I'm just glad that he was able to be in the room with me. Although I could have wished, you know, I wish there was longer visitation time. Yeah. That was kind of shocking to me. Because, like, in the States, you see the whole family coming into the room, which also, like...
Yeah, maybe... Depends on the person, but that might be a little too much.
I can see, for me personally, that would be so stressful because you're just so tired and there's all kinds of people...
You're very vulnerable.
Yeah, like, maybe touching your baby. I know a lot of people, you know, babies can get sick if you have some family members or friends who are really, you know, trying to kiss your baby and that, like, spreads germs and stuff. So in that sense, in the health sense, I'm kind of very glad I didn't have to host a lot of people while I was in the hospital. It kind of gave, that limited visitation gave me a good excuse to be like, sorry, you can't come, you know. No one in my circle was like pushy like that anyway, but if there was, I was happy to have the excuse.
But the hospital stay went by really quickly, right?
It was very quick. I mean, I was a little nervous because 4 nights and 5 days to not be with my husband at home. Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but to be honest, it did fly by. Towards the end, I was very excited to go home, but that time is very crucial for just your healing in general. And so I do appreciate it in the end. It's not as long as I think people make it out to be. Yeah.
Because I was thinking about visiting you in the hospital.
Yeah. But then it was like, done.
Might as well just wait to see you at home then.
Yeah, it flew by really quick, especially when you're allowed 1 a day or 1 or 2 a day. And most of that was, like I said, my husband and mom-in-law. So yeah. But thank you for offering.
Yep.
But I'll wrap it up in a little bit. I just wanted to go over quickly some other culture shocks. You know how we talked about the maternity cookies in our previous episode?
Oh, yes. The controversial cookies.
Yeah. Do you want to summarize it really quickly for the listeners?
Okay, so some people, if you work in an office, for example, before they take their maternity leave, they might get a snack for their coworkers just as a preemptive thank you for, you know, supporting me during my leave. And the cookies could have a message on it that would say like, oh, please take care of me. I'm going to take my leave or something like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like them. They think they're annoying.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just a kind gesture.
Yeah. I mean, I did it. It's a kind gesture. It's a way to let, like Frankie said, your people know, like, I'm about to give birth. So thanks, you know. But what I didn't know is that, of course, when you have a baby, you also receive a lot of congratulatory gifts. I received some from, you know, family members, friends, general acquaintances, and my coworkers. And I was very happy. I'm very appreciative of it. You know, it was
What kind of gifts?
Oh, so some gifts, they're really creative. I got a lot of towels, which you can never, I guess, have too many towels when you have a baby. But a lot of towels, a lot of cute ones I got were, they're like diaper towers, or it's called a diaper cake. And so it looks like a little cake stacked up, but it's just diapers. Okay. Very useful. Again, I will use it. Rattles, typical baby toys and things here. Nothing useless, I would say. One friend, shout out to you, she sent me, it was a gift for me, which I really appreciated. It wasn't for a baby, but it was, Soup Stock Tokyo, that restaurant or that chain. She sent me like a box, I guess, through them of frozen soups. And it was really helpful in my time when I was just, recovering at home when my husband was at work. Because again, the last thing you have time for is to cook for yourself.
True.
And so just having, frozen food and frozen soups was very helpful in my healing. And I had another friend, she didn't give me, anything like a diaper cake, but she made me 3 huge bags of just burritos to put in the freezer. So
Is your freezer big enough for all this?
I really had to like Tetris some stuff around. So she sent me stuff like that. But anyway, the more, I guess, gift wrappy type stuff, like I said, the towels, the diaper cakes and whatever, I was ready to just accept the gift and say, thank you. I really appreciate it. And what I learned is that I am now expected to give everyone who gave me a present a return gift, a thank you gift, which I'm not trying to sound ungrateful, but it's also, when does the gift giving end, Because in my opinion, it just takes away the what do you call it? Not the generosity, but the overall spirit of gift giving. When I give you a present, I don't expect anything back. Yeah. I just want to give you a present because I care about you and I got this for you. Please enjoy it. And I'm not saying the people who gave me these gifts expect something back. They're not those kind of people, but just the thought or the expectation is there that I now have to give something back is kind of stressful, so keep that in mind.
You're busy.
Yeah, if you're in Japan, that apparently is a thing. So
I didn't think about that.
But
wouldn't a registry be useful in this case? Because I mean, baby showers are not so much of a thing now. Maybe some people do them, but usually for Americans, at least, when you do the baby shower, you have a registry, so people get you the stuff that you are telling them that you need and you want.
But in exchange for that, so again, with my hospital, I got a bunch of stuff, like baby stuff from my hospital, and with all of on top of all the paperwork and whatever, I got a lot of magazine catalogs for gifts, like, for cookie boxes or cracker boxes or whatever. And I was at first thinking, what do I need this for? I'm not gonna get myself a gift. And now I know it's to give the return. Yeah, it's to give the thank you gift for your gift. So just keep that in mind. It's a lot of money goes towards gift giving as well.
That is true. Also, so your husband did take some paternity leave, right?
Oh, yeah. So, of course, it depends on the company. You're legally allowed to take paternity leave in Japan.
Yes.
You have that right. But of course, everyone has different, financial, background. Maybe for financial reasons, some people can't take as long as paternity leave as they would like to and all of that stuff because it's not fully paid.
Yeah, or they have a high pressure job or something and they just can't take that much time off.
Yeah, and so in my husband's case, he could take a month off and then some because he also just took personal time off.
Oh, personal vacation days too?
Yeah, or especially around my birth.
The nenkyuu?
Yeah, nenkyuu. So he took both, and so now he's back to work because we got bills to pay and so
but it's nice he took some of it.
I'm very, very appreciative.
Not many people take it. It's increasing.
So some people don't take it at all, and so I'm very happy he took as much as he could. And again, I'll take what I can get because if we were in the U.S., we probably couldn't at all. I probably would have been back at work
working right now.
The next day, So again, I'm very happy about that. But did you have something about paternity leave here in Japan?
Yeah. So I found a Reddit story from 8 years ago.
Dang.
Let me pull it up. Okay, this is from 8 years ago in r/Japan. So it's from the perspective of a foreign husband whose Japanese wife had just given birth. So it's called Father Not Involved After Birth. Is this tradition? Hi, Reddit. I have a... Oh, wait, no. It's not from the perspective of the father. It's the friend of the father.
Okay.
Because the father doesn't use social media or something.
I see. What a good friend posting
anyway.
on behalf, I guess.
Yeah. So I have this friend asking for a friend. Yeah. Okay.
Friend.
Hi, Reddit. I have a friend in Japan having a tough time. He's English and married a Japanese girl. He lived in Japan for several years. She has a close family who seem to push my friend out. That's how it feels to him. And the two have just had their first baby. Firstly, he was told by his employer, her father, that Japan has no paternity leave, which I know is a lie, although I know only a small percentage of men take it. Second, she's moved in with her parents because this is apparently tradition for the first month or two of the baby's life, and he's struggling to get time to see his child. It's causing him a lot of stress. He doesn't use the internet, so I'm trying to help him get some information. He said he feels pushed aside as though he's an outsider. This cannot be tradition, surely. I think her parents are trying to force themselves into their lives and make decisions for their grandchild's life without his consent. Any advice is appreciated. Many thanks.
Can I say something? Or maybe if we read some comments, people will say the same thing I'm thinking.
I just wanted to read the top
comment.
comment.
Of course, yes.
Because a lot of the other comments were kind of mean. They're like, well, he's so dumb for working for his father-in-law. Like,
rude. That's not the point of the post. But okay, anyway,
Anywho.
read the top comment. Because that's exactly what I was going to get at, too.
Yeah. The most helpful comment said, it is tradition. It's called satogaeri, and like others here, I put my foot down on it. I told my mother-in-law she was more than welcome to come and stay with us if she wanted to help out, which she graciously did. However, if your friend is feeling like an outsider looking in, surely he shoulders some of that blame. I imagine his communication ability must be very poor if he's found himself in that situation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say about the satogaeri. It's just really normal. You know, that's what a lot of my coworkers did, you know, their wives and everything.
Did that too.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't do that obviously because I would have to fly back to the States, which I might do later this year, but it is just very typical we talked about it in the other episode, for the mother to go back to her hometown and stay with her parents. And, you know, it's kind of up to the husband if they want to come along, or if they can. A lot of times they can't take time off work, so they don't go anyway.
Yeah, but, so it's good for her to have that village of support.
Yeah.
But again, it depends.
Yeah, it really depends.
Not everybody does this.
Yeah, and I think...
But it's not uncommon.
With her family too, because they just sound very traditionally Japanese. Up until that point, you have to think about the system that creates this expectation, right? Yeah. From the start, you know, a lot of times the father isn't allowed in the labor and delivery room. Okay, no expectation from them there. And then when it comes to visitation, they're barely there anyway. Yeah. So again, no expectation from them there. Yeah. So I think when the mom is like, okay, I want to go stay with my family for them to help take care of the baby, I think already by that point, the dad or the men in this society are just kind of like, yeah, okay. You know, like no one says, no one thinks anything about it, because already there hasn't been much, again, it depends, much involvement from the father/husband's side. Okay. Even if they want to be. Maybe they just couldn't, because again, the hospital. Yeah. Yes. Because the hospital didn't allow them to be, you know? And so I think...
So it's not really him being pushed out.
No, I don't think...
It's just the cultural difference.
I don't know this family. That could be one. It could be. They could be pushing him out. It could be both. Yeah. Or they could also be like, what? What do you mean you want to help? It's not really your duty to, quote unquote, your duty to, or like, maybe they just don't know anything else, because again, he's English, right? And they're all Japanese. Yeah. So up until that point, they're probably just like, what? Like for them, it's probably a culture shock that he wants to help so much, you know? And so
that's true.
So again, he could be being pushed out, but also they could just be like, no, it's fine. Let us do everything, you know?
Yeah. So it sounds like the problem is communication. Especially communicating with his wife. Yeah. Maybe they should have talked about that before she gave birth. It could have helped some of that stress in that situation.
I think so. But this was 8 years ago, right? So I hope everything was fine after that. I hope he could help. I mean, he does work for his dad-in-law, so it sounds like they're already in close proximity. It's not like she fully went,
across
away.
the country or something. Yeah.
At least I don't think so, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope it worked out for them, though. Well, to kind of jump back a little bit, we were really curious about hearing some other perspectives. I know I've been yapping on about this topic for a long time, so I just wanted to see if there was any other people I know who, had other experiences than me. And so we got a great submission. I'm just going to read it straightforward, if that's okay.
Okay.
So they said, I was at a clinic that offered no English support, but I still had a really good experience overall and was so glad I got to give birth here. My doctor wasn't an a-hole about me gaining 20 kilos either, because sometimes they are, unfortunately. Yeah. Basically, they just encouraged me to walk more. I did find it funny that a lot of people back in the States go swimming and stuff up until the very end of their pregnancy, whereas my doctor recommended only walking during the 3rd trimester. Yeah, mine too, actually. They were very much like...
Swimming's not good?
I think swimming is a great exercise when you're pregnant. I think in Japan, anything in the 3rd trimester, they're very much like, just take it easy. Don't overexert yourself. Because I was still going to the gym and stuff too. And they told me the same thing.
Oh.
But anyway.
Okay.
I felt they were overall more on the cautious side with everything, but they still went swimming up until 39 weeks, I guess. Yeah. And then they also just gave a general experience and review on their submission. So I'll continue reading.
Okay.
They said, I wanted to share a little bit about what it was like to have a baby in Japan, particularly at my clinic. They live in Kansai in Hyogo, I believe, for context. The amount of support you receive before, during, and after birth is amazing, and I so wish America would try to provide even half of what I got here. So first of all, financial support. Lump sum payment to help cover the medical fees and the 5-day stay in the clinic. I paid out of pocket maybe $300 for the entire thing, including medicine to take home. There's paid checkups for the entirety of your pregnancy, they got paid maternity leave that starts 6 weeks before your due date, and then paid child care leave after for both mom and dad. I'm taking 1 year, and their husband will probably take 4 to 5 months.
Nice.
They also got roughly $333. So I'm going to say 5,000 yen, 50,000 yen, twice from their city just for being pregnant and then after birth. This also applied to me in Osaka. Monthly childcare aid, depending on the number of children, and also a free midwife home visit from the city to help with anything you need.
Nice.
Would you like to read about their clinic stay?
Sure. Birthing clinic stay. It's common for everyone to stay 4 to 5 days, and they're known for having amazing facilities to help with rest and recovery. Mine had body massages, facials, hot stone spa.
Whoa, where'd you go? Okay.
Pelvic floor and abdominal muscle therapy, delicious and healthy meals and snacks, and more. Classes from midwives on everything you need to know about taking care of babies, diapers, breastfeeding, bathing, etc. Midwives take care of the baby during the first few nights so moms can rest. You can request for baby to stay with you if you like, though. Breastfeeding room where moms gather every few hours to do it together with midwives there to help support and teach.
But with all that being said, there are still some things that they didn't like. For example, only about 5% of women in Japan get epidurals. So back to the epidural conversation. Natural birth, aka no pain relief of any kind, is still seen as the best way. It's very hard to find places that even offer it. This person ended up getting induced at 41 weeks, 5 days, and had a very quick but extremely painful labor. They also said most places don't allow you to choose your birthing position, and what the doctor says goes. That's very true. Because some people choose to do it like on all fours or, leaning over the bed and stuff. But you're just, laying face up in the bed.
Missionary.
Like, missionary. You're just vanilla missionary style. Yeah, that's true. And the last thing they said is their birthing clinic had very strict rules on visitors. So we went over this, but only allowed the dad and one person to be there 2 hours after the birth, and then only during visiting hours, which were just 1 hour a day. So it sounds like this limited visitation time is pretty across the board. Yeah, it's pretty common all throughout Japan. Assuming this was in Hyogo and I'm in Osaka, and we had basically the same experience. So
we need to talk we need to talk to somebody who gave birth in a very rural area.
True, that's right.
Anybody out there?
Yeah.
communicopod@gmail.com.
Yeah, seriously. I do forget that, how different it can be just being in a city, you know.
We're not in Tokyo, but still Osaka and Hyogo. I mean, assuming they live near, maybe I think live near Kobe, because that's a major city.
Yeah.
But, so something I have been looking into is there's also the option to go to like midwives, like a midwifery clinic. And at those places, usually you can choose your birthing position.
Yeah, I bet.
You can have more visitors. Ooh, if you like.
Okay.
But the downside, I mean, if you want to get an epidural, like they can't give that to you at that type of clinic. So it just depends what kind of birthing experience you want.
Because there's no anesthesiologist there. I see. Yeah. Well, there you go. The option does exist. We're not, saying there's only one way to do it here in Japan, but you do have to look is the thing.
Yeah, I guess think about your birth plan or expectations first, and then you can probably find a clinic or, maternity hospital or midwifery clinic or something that meets your needs. So
I like that word midwifery. I've never heard it said like that. Maybe I've just been pronouncing it wrong my whole life.
You could also say midwifery.
That's how I read it in my head, but I do like midwifery.
I think midwifery is like the British pronunciation, and then midwifery is the American pronunciation.
I see.
But midwifery just sounds so whimsical.
It does, and it just really rolls off the tongue a lot faster, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for your submission.
Just wanted to mention that too.
Yeah. That's all the personal stuff I had to say about it.
And thank you for the submission.
Yeah.
It's good to get more testimonials.
Yeah. But we did want to get into some articles too that you found, right?
Yeah. So I came across this article. It's not new. It's from 2 years ago. But it said, leading Japanese hospital suspends childbirth pain relief. So this is a major hospital in Osaka. But basically, in a nut... Is it yours?
No. I heard Osaka and I was, reacting. But then I read the name of the hospital and said, phew. Because again, I got watsuubunben at least. But yeah.
No, it's Osaka University Hospital. But basically, in a nutshell, we'll link the article, but it's pretty much because of the lack of anesthesiologists. We don't need to go through the whole thing, but just one of the most important parts. It's right in the beginning, too. The hospital has performed epidural since 2016, a service that requires an anesthesiologist to be available on site 24 hours a day. So during fiscal 2022, 386 women opted for the pain relief method during childbirth. So I guess, lack of anesthesiologists, and it's not overwhelmingly popular, that procedure. But I think that's also because it's not as easily available.
Yeah,
too, so it's kind of like
going back and forth, the effect.
The chicken or the egg.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, yeah. Huh. Well, good thing I didn't go to that hospital, I guess.
Because you wouldn't have gotten one.
No.
Yeah, but I just thought it was interesting because even in a major city like Osaka, it's still...
I was really surprised to see Osaka Hospital. When it said top hospital, I was already thinking maybe it's Tokyo, and that could be fine because there's, hundreds of hospitals in Tokyo anyway. But when it was Osaka General Hospital, wow.
Get close to home.
So if anyone's in the Kansai, specifically Osaka area, thinking about having children, just keep that in mind. I guess they don't do it anymore.
At Osaka University Hospital.
Sorry, not General Hospital.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
food for thought. Just wanted to bring that up real quick.
This last thing I wanted to cover just a little more in detail because it has to do with the future of childbirth in Japan. We did briefly touch on the cost of giving birth. And like I said, there was a lump sum you receive. For the most part, it can be free depending on what extra stuff or if you don't get any extra stuff and whatever. But this article I found posted as of May 15th of this year, 2025. Okay. The title is Japan set to fully cover childbirth costs, possibly from April 2026.
Possibly?
So, possibly, yeah. I was very happy to see it, but I guess we do have to keep the word possibly in mind. Yeah. We can popcorn read this. I'll start.
Okay.
So, Japan's health ministry is set to eliminate out-of-pocket payments associated with child delivery, possibly from April next year, to address the country's declining birth rate.
One proposed approach in the policy, approved Wednesday by a panel of experts, involves fully covering expenses for normal deliveries under the public medical insurance system.
Normal childbirth currently falls outside of the scope of the insurance coverage as it is not regarded as a medical condition like illness or injury, although cesarean sections are covered as an exception. Oh, I didn't know that. Epidurals in which labor pain is reduced are expected to remain outside coverage under the proposals.
Since medical institutions can set their own prices for normal deliveries, childbirth costs in the country have largely differed among prefectures.
While the government currently provides a lump sum payment of 500,000 yen, roughly $3,400 for each childbirth, delivery costs have been on the rise and often exceed that amount.
That's right.
That's exactly how I feel.
The average cost nationwide for a normal childbirth in the first half of fiscal 2024 was around 518,000 yen, figures from the Health, Labor, and Welfare Ministry showed.
If childbirth becomes qualified for public coverage, a unified price will be set nationwide. But obstetricians have expressed concerns that the move could cause financial strain for medical institutions due to reduced revenue.
Reduced revenue? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. So again, the key word is possibly. Would love to see it
proposed.
Yeah, but who knows?
We'll see.
At this point, I'm just really appreciative of the current financial support that is, given in Japan. So if this, what would you call it? This bill, if this thing doesn't get passed or it doesn't happen next year, again, me as an American, not the end of the world.
Still pretty good for us.
I'll take what I can get, but also I'll take more as well.
Yep, that's right.
That's right. Any other comments?
No notes.
No notes. Perfect.
All right. Is that all we got?
That is all we got. Thank you so much for sticking around. It felt almost as long as my 27-hour labor. But
first episode back.
I know, and I had a lot to say. I'm just happy to be here. Usually I'm at home by myself with baby, so I'm like talking to her or talking to the wall. So for me, I'm just very happy to be back in a yap sesh space. So feels good to be back.
But welcome back.
Thank you. Maybe you may or may not see baby here and there in future episodes. I guess it just depends on,
Yeah, why not?
If I'm watching her. We would love to see her as a recurring guest, but if not, that's fine too.
Yes, and also I don't know if her face is visible, but if it is, I will be blurring it. So
thank you.
Sorry to disappoint anyone who wants to see the baby.
Yeah.
You're not gonna.
Sorry, and that's just for privacy
child safety
reasons, reasons. Yeah, I heard, sorry, tangent, like a lot of the reason people aren't posting their kids or you shouldn't post kids on the internet and stuff these days is because of AI or deep fakes and stuff. People can just take those images and do all kinds of stuff with them, and that kind of freaks me out too. So let's all be respectful in terms of not showing not just my kid's face, but if you're a visitor or if you live in Japan, and we talk about this a lot, so do other creators, but if you see, kids in public and you think, oh, what a cute little uniform, or wow, kids in Japan are so independent, click.
Not just here, but anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. Don't do it.
Stop filming kids.
Don't do
Stop
it. Okay, but anyway, that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Some creeps have to ruin everything, but better safe than sorry. What?
Do we want to talk? Speaking of creeps, and maybe some people who might want to defend creeps in Japan.
Well, don't.
Yeah.
So, you can't see your
t-shirt. See mine. I'm sorry. I'm wearing the pink version.
There's a baby on your chest.
Yeah.
But while Cheyenne was on her birthing break,
my birthing journey.
You're still on maternity leave.
That's true.
Technically.
Yeah. Birth break.
But yeah, while you were giving birth and all that, I thought it would be a fun idea to have some t-shirts made. Yay. So our friend, Brandy Nicole Easter, I contacted her again. And this was a surprise for Cheyenne. I contacted Brandy and I said, like, hey, can we come up with the design for a t-shirt? And so this is a prototype, but it has a cute little cartoon animation of us, and it says,
"You can love Japan and not defend creeps and criminals." Our favorite
disclaimer.
Phrase.
Favorite phrase.
Yeah. And Frankie got them in all different kinds of colors too. They're really fun. If you're watching, you can see the design. I know with the backdrop with the couch we're sitting on currently, it might be a little hard to see the blue one that Frankie's wearing. I have the pink one, but again, with Bebe, you can't see the logo on me, but maybe you'll see these shirts here and there in future episodes.
Yeah, you'll see us wearing these shirts. We've probably posted about it We've probably posted about it on Instagram already. The shirts are not for sale. It was just a fun prototype that I wanted to make. But
unless you want to buy them.
if you're interested, let us know. Because I think we need a minimum order
Oh, I see.
to do this kind of thing, and
I don't know how
We'll
YouTuber
see.
merch works, but yeah.
If there's enough interest, we could sell them, but it was just mainly fun,
and it was such a fun surprise to, I don't know, just have new clothes after giving birth, especially because I don't fit any of my old clothes anymore.
Comfy oversized t-shirt.
Love it.
Good for the summer too.
Yeah. And again, shout out Brandy for the image on our shirt is the same as our logo that we have on our mics, and
similar, different color scheme. Yeah, though. Our t-shirts are like cute and pastel.
Yeah,
and then on the mics we have our classic like dark red and golden yellow color theme.
I love them. Can't wait to wear them everywhere.
Yes.
Okay.
So
anyway,
all right. Thanks for sticking around for what has probably been a long episode.
Yes. Sorry. Let's name it 27-hour episode. Okay, but thank you for listening. Thank you for watching and just being here. We love you. Bye.
See you again soon. Bye.
Bye. Say bye. Yep, that's what I thought.